Hey everybody, welcome to Wellness Wednesday. Let me know where you are coming in and also let me know if you have any prayer requests so that we can go before God and just pray for whatever the reasons are. We know that we are headed towards the end of the year, the start of a new year, and maybe there are some things that you are believing God for. There are some things that you are contending with. There are some things that you told God, I am not taking into 2022. Come on now. So I want to pray with you. I want to partner with you in prayer. Welcome to Wellness Wednesday. Welcome to Wellness Wednesday. Wellness Wednesday is fit for every area of your life. God gave this to me when I was reading the word, and the word says, I wish above all that you will prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prosper. So God wants us healthy in every area of our lives. So on Wellness Wednesday, we will discuss well state, whether that's financial, fashion, spiritual health, mental health, emotional health, environmental health, social health, whatever it may be that we are led to talk about during this broadcast. We have fun with it and we're going to do it. So like I said, let's get ready for Wellness Wednesday. So we have a great show aligned out with you today. I kind of pushed domestic violence, the subject of domestic violence. I wanted to do it at the top of the year, but I had a few people to reach out to me, including a high school teacher, and said that the session that we did before was so good, so helpful. So I just felt compelled that we got to do it again. So I brought Rachel back. So we are going to talk about why the victim may choose to stay. And this is a touchy subject, so I did say parental discretion is advised. I would love for your family to be involved in this conversation because it's a needed conversation. Last session, we talked about the stigma of men that suffered from domestic violence and the stigma of how they can't speak up, so they suffer in silence. So we talked about that, and we brought Rachel back because we have provided so many. Hey Kim, how are you? We have provided resources. We were showing resources. Hey Regina, Mississippi, tell me where you're coming from. We have provided resources so that when you can come out of this abusive, toxic relationship and where you can go to get help, But what happened when someone decides that they want to stay? We also going to discuss later on in the show. We're going to have Ask Eunice. So someone asked me a question. He said that he always find himself breaking off the relationship before each holiday, and he asked for my opinion, and I'm going to give it because I feel there's an underlying root to that. So we're going to talk about that. But first, let's get into being socially fit. We're going to discuss trending topics, world news, church news, and entertainment. My first question is, what kind of parents is Lucius and Cookie? I want to know what kind of parents is Lucius and Cookie. We all know that Just was found guilty. Just, can I call you that? I know a lot of people call you Just. Your name ain't Just, but can I call you Just? So Just was found guilty. We know that. But his brother, Hakeem, we know earlier what that was, this year or last year, he was found guilty of domestic violence, assault against his ex-wife. So he spent, I think, 10 days in jail. So I'm thinking, like, how in the world? What's going on with Just and his brother Hakeem, the parents? What in the world is going on? I mean, we all knew that Just would be found guilty. We talked about that last week. We knew that because of all the evidence, the overwhelming evidence against him. So we kind of figured that, but I'm like, what in the world is going on? Also in world news, Attorney General Garlick ordered the Bureau of Prisons on Tuesday, yesterday, to allow federal inmates released because of the COVID pandemic to remain home. So apparently, after Trump passed that where they can come out because of COVID, according to that policy, 5 days after the current president, declared that the pandemic was over, they would have had to return to their prison cells. But with Garland making an amend to that policy, they can now remain home, especially if they're following the program. So there was over 35,000 inmates that was released. My thought, my hope is that they were Black, well, not all Black, but I hope that we didn't get the short end of the stick. Out of the 35,000, I'm hoping that a lot of our community was within that, because in my opinion, sometimes it seems as if it's swayed towards the other way, and that's no hit on any race. It's just that it seems like our community, our Black community, seems like when laws and things are passed, it's not necessarily favorable for us. Sometimes it's not the parents. True, Priscilla. And actually, it was a joke, so I guess it didn't land because Lucius and Cookie aren't really the parents. So when I said what type of parents were Lucius and Cookie, that was their TV name. So, the joke didn't land. So I didn't mean it as literally parents because Lucius and Cookie is not their parents. It was a joke. Also, in church news, we see, and I want to just give a little shout out to Shani and Pastor Keon. They are now engaged, and someone actually asked me, what do I think about it? And I don't see nothing wrong with it. I feel like we're living in a time now where typical looks aren't necessarily going to happen anymore. I think we're going to have a lot of out of the box type of things. And I'm pretty sure he prayed over it. I'm pretty sure she prayed over it. I'm pretty sure they're going to get premarital counseling. So far as I'm concerned, they are right with me. And I'm going to pray for much success in the marriage and much success in their ministry. And that's what I would love for all of us to do. I just don't, the person who asked me, I told them we should not be judging if she's spiritual enough or if she's saved enough or is she that first lady. Come on now, let that go, and let's just pray and keep them covered. The last thing I want to talk about is a couple of weeks ago, I was intended to tell you guys about this. Someone pinged me 5 o'clock in the morning. Now, obviously, you don't know me, because if you knew me, you would know I'm not really a morning person, especially 5 o'clock in the morning. And so they asked me about Marcus Lamb, the founder of Daystar, when he passed. And they was telling me that, he passed on December the 1st. And I think 7, 8 years ago, Paul Crouch passed on November the 30th. So they tells me, oh, that's a prophetic weekend, and we're going to have a prophetic insight call. Okay, here's my thoughts. It's just my thoughts. What's prophetic about it? He passed on the 1st. Paul Crouch passed on the 30th 8 years ago. It's unfortunate for us to lose Marcus Lamb, but I don't see any propheticness in it. I just think sometimes church people can go too deep. Y'all get all spooky deep. I mean, if God told you that this was something, then run with that. But don't ping me. Don't ping me no 5 o'clock in the morning telling me that we got to jump on a call to see what God is saying about this prophetically. What? Woo! You almost didn't see the intercessor with that ping. I don't do 5 o'clock in the morning, especially when I don't see the purpose. So I don't think it was anything prophetic. Okay, so that's just my thought. I just need to drop that off. That's just with us being socially fit, discussing trending topics. Now we're getting ready to invite our guest speaker in. Her name is Rachel. She's an advocate. She worked with domestic violence victims. And I really am excited about tonight's message, because I feel like sometimes people will, thank you, Tanya. Yeah, they're just too deep. But I feel like sometimes people look at someone and say, oh, girl, you don't need to take that. Oh, he hit you. You need to get out. Why are you still there? See, I don't feel sorry for you. We tried to help you. You still there. No, we cannot do that, because that's passing judgment. So we invited Rachel back just to kind of clear the air and ask her, okay, Rachel, why do some people choose to stay? So we're coming right back with, why do some victims decide to stay with the abuser? Be right back.
Okay, so this is what cauliflower juice looks like. And then we're going to add in the cucumber and add in the sweetness from the pears. Now what I did was I separated the pulp out, because I didn't want the pear pulp and the cucumber pulp to mix in with this. So from this pulp, we can actually just go ahead and use this as our cauliflower mashed potatoes. Finish juicing the pears, finish juicing the cucumbers, and I'll come back with our finished product. All right, our juice is ready. I did add 1 extra pear. So for this recipe, you're going to use 1 whole cauliflower. We added, I would say, about 3 to 4 pears and 1 whole cucumber. Now another thing that you can do is you can actually strain your juice. Any extra fiber left in there can come out. Look at that nice color. It almost matches my jacket.
I like what she said. It almost matches my jacket. If you have, I love to promote your business, so just shoot me a DM. Say, Eunice, I got my business that I want to promote, and I'll be glad to bring you on. Hi, Rachel. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I am good. Merry Christmas.
Same to you.
So to those who missed us last week, introduce yourself to us and tell us, how are you in relation to helping people that's suffering with domestic violence?
Okay, well, I'm, of course, Rachel Edwards. And for years, I've been helping families, individuals, either with the children, maintaining children in the home. I've worked with the homeless population, helping with moving into affordable housing. And now currently I work with victims of domestic violence, where I am the advocate in helping them get acclimated back into the community, whether it be financial need or some like to return to get their education to better themselves. Some may want help with just finding employment so that it can, right away move into affordable housing. So in a number of ways, I help
Right.
individuals
Okay, I missed your sound. Can you hear me? Ah, we got to pray against that. We got to hear all this good thing. Now, me and Rachel was talking for a good 5 minutes before we came on live, and there was nothing wrong with her sound. So now it's trying to show her sound is out. All right. So while we wait for Rachel, hopefully and prayerfully she'll be able to get that together so we can bring her back. See how things that no one it's a lot, especially around the holidays. So we really, really want to help those who feel stuck and trapped and those who's going through so much. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to submit your questions and we'll ask Rachel so that she can show us at the end and answer any questions that we might have. Is your sound okay?
can you see me and hear me?
Yes, I
Oh,
can see and hear you. Perfect.
okay.
All right, since excuse those technical difficulties. So last session we talked about domestic violence, and you gave us the warning signs to know when you're with an abuser. You know, you talked about control and isolation and you manipulation, and we talked about all of that, and we also shared how you can get help and what's available for help. And this session, we want to discuss why do some choose to stay. So I guess my first question is, it's just that. Why do you think a person choose to stay?
Well, the main reason individuals choose to stay in this situation is fear. They are so fearful that there's no way out.
Wow.
They're fearful that if I leave, he will find me or she will find me. They're fearful and believing that the person will actually kill them because that is the main threat. I will kill you. They're fearful if I leave, my children will be taken from me because I will
Wow.
have no place to take my children. So there are a number of reasons why an individual stay in that abusive situation.
Right, right. How if they do decide to stay, how can we encourage them to find peace within? Not we're not saying stay. God knows we want you to get out of that. But if I can't convince you otherwise, if I can't, I'm done all I can do to get you out of that, but you're just going to stay regardless. How can we encourage them to find that peace in such a hostile environment?
Well, I'm not sure if you can find peace in a hostile environment. However, the main encouragement would be find a safety plan that works for you. One day you may decide to leave. You want to be prepared to leave. If you have children, sit with your kids as to what plan or the way of escape. Whether it be if I look at you a certain way, that means grab the bag and go. Always have your bag packed with your important papers such as birth certificate, social security cards, maybe your ID if you don't carry it on you. Um, any medicines, anything that you would need immediately that will prevent you from moving forward, have those things packed in a bag in a closet somewhere, hopefully where your abuser would not find it. And also create a plan with a neighbor. If at one time I created a plan with the family, and if the neighbor seen the porch light on, that means get help.
Yeah,
So come up with some type of plan to ensure your safety while well, it would not ensure your safety, but however, when you're ready to leave, have a plan in place.
yeah,
That may bring you some peace of mind knowing that if anything happened, my kids would know where to go. My kids would know who to call. The neighbor would know what to do. So in that, you may find some kind of peace in that situation.
Right, and I'm glad you used the word plan because Tammy Roman had gave her story, gave us her story once about she was in a domestic violence relationship. She was being abused. She said she would come home. She was at the time she was a young teenager, mid teenager, like I think 19, 20. I can't remember her exact age, but her and her mom got separated, so she ended up moving in with the boyfriend, and he became very abusive. She said he would just come home and just punch her in the face, just start fighting her. And she said, well, she went every day. She went home to this abuse, and she thought of a plan. She at work, she said she would just bank her paychecks. She was working at the mall. She was banking her checks, and she said for 4 months she put all her checks up, and then when she had enough money, she left and went and got her own place.
Hmm.
And I think when I say, I know, like Rachel said, we can't find a peaceful space in that type of environment, but I would encourage you to call the hotline, the helpline. I will encourage you to still find a counselor. I will encourage you to, if you can, find a place where you know you're by yourself and definitely have a prayer time with God. Inner peace, you might not be able to find peace in your home, but maintain that inner peace. And Jesus Christ is the one that can give you inner peace. He's the one that can settle the storm while you feel like it's raging. Woo, come on now. While you feel like that storm is raging, he's the one that can settle inside. So, since this is a faith based show, and like Rachel encouraged, practically find that plan so you can get out. But if you feel like Tammy Roman was, I got to stay for 5 more months, somehow allow the peace of God to keep you. So your mind, you won't lose your mind. But we encourage first and foremost in priority to get out.
Yes.
That's what we want you to do. We want you to get out. I I want to go into when you have a friend going through this, or a coworker going through this, or you have somebody in the church. We've seen it happen in the church as well. So I want to go through that. So when we come back, let's talk about for coworkers and families what we can do to encourage them as they see their loved ones go through this. So I actually alluded to this earlier when I said about, people saying, girl, you need to get up out of there. And why are you still there? And you need to do this and you need to do that. How can we encourage coworkers, family, friends, loved ones, church members who know someone who's going through this to be supportive and not judgmental?
Well, one way to be supportive is to be empathetic towards that person. And in order for you to be empathetic, you have to understand where that person is coming from and why they choose to stay, um, and learn the situation, understand where they're coming from. And in understanding, you'll be able to support them more because you understand now the reason why they stay, what brought them in that situation. So therefore you're able to help more, you're able to encourage more, and you're able to just be a bit more patient with the person,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
on the average a person leaves a domestic situation at least 8 times before they finally make that final decision to leave and not return. So
Wow.
it get tiresome and trying to help a person, and especially when you don't quite understand why you allow yourself to go through this situation. But in understanding a person, you generally try to you be a bit more patient
Yeah.
in the process of them working through leaving that situation.
You know, it's amazing that you said they, study shows that a person will try to leave 8 times before making that final decision to leave. I don't know why my mind went to what's love got to do with it, because people make joke about it. Ike and Tina, but that's serious domestic violence. And when she tried to leave, her mom um, told the man what she was. So
Hmm.
so like you said, even if they leave and you think they might come back, when they leave, you're in that moment with them. You did the right thing. You can make it. God got you. We're gonna pray you through this. Don't I hope nobody out there do something like this. Don't help the abuser find the victim, because if that's the case, you're not a family, friend, or a loved one.
Well, now that you say that, that does happen where family members, friends will disclose the place of where the abuser or victim goes. So, in that, they still have to be careful who they talk to. So, that's why you find individuals staying in a situation because of the lack of trust, and
Wow.
also the abuse that is placed upon them cause them not to be able to trust already. And then
Right.
if I can't trust my friend, my family, my mom, my sister, my cousin, then where's the escape? Where's the way out? So you have to be careful,
Yes.
and saying that you want to help, you truly have to show that you are sincere in wanting to help a person out of that situation, because
Right.
there's already a lack of trust there
That's right.
on the
That's right.
part of the victim anyway.
That's right. And I love the way you say be empathetic. So if they left and they call you and they came right back, God, just encourage them. Say, I'm praying for you. You strong. Let's, however God leads you or however you feel in your spirit, that you can just help them get back out
Hmm.
of that situation. Well, Rachel, I really enjoy our time is up, but I really enjoyed our conversation. Please, I'm looking at the comments. Let me know if you have any questions for Rachel. Also, Rachel, let us know how we can reach you.
Well, I can be reached at Let's Talk About It through my Facebook group. And you can also reach me at our national hotline or our local hotline, where I could be reached at any time. It doesn't matter. 24 hours, I am available
Yes.
to talk with someone. If it's just to listen to you, state your concerns and or immediate needs, and then I can also refer you to the right places to get that help you need.
Amen. That's right. Well, Rachel is going to be a friend of the show, so I'm definitely going to have her back. Appreciate you. Love you like a big sister. And we'll discuss. Stay on so we can talk a little later on offline.
Love you too.
All right, so let's get into this doggone question, y'all. I can't believe this brother asked me this question, but he did. He had the nerve to ask me this question. So coming up next is Ask Eunice. So he asked, oh, wait, do we have a question? Oh, thank you, Tanya. So this guy, he says, Eunice, I don't know. Every time I'm with somebody and it's coming up towards a holiday, specifically Christmas or Valentine's, I have a tendency to break off the relationship. So he asked me, he said, do you think I have commitment issues? Now, y'all, I'm not a certified counselor. I am a certified life coach, but I'm not a counselor. So my opinion is just that, my opinion. So I told him, I really don't think it's as much as you having a commitment issue as it is for you having a mature issue. You need to grow up. Now, the reason why I say it's not a commitment issue is because you're involved in these relationships for months at a time. If you had a commitment issue, you would never even get into the relationship, let alone allow it to hold from February to December. That's an extended period of time. I think that you're not ready for a relationship, and something about the holidays make you think it's time to make a commitment. And Tanya, that was my next point. I think you're cheap. That's what I told them. I think you're cheap. You're trying to find a way not to buy a Christmas present and not to buy a Valentine's Day present. Now, if that's the case, when you start this relationship, let them know I don't celebrate the holidays in a traditional sense. Or, say, hey, we don't exchange gifts, whatever it takes. But I will say, find someone who is certified to counsel you and to see what is the underlying root of you ending relationships at specific times of the year. Is it because you're cheap? Is it because you're running away from commitment? Or is it just a level of maturity? You're just not there yet. I say all things from a place of love. So please don't take it the wrong way. All right, I love you guys so much. Like I said, I am believing God to pitch my show to the network for Wellness Wednesday. I'm going to start having brainstorming ideas. I see myself on a major network as well as Foxhole TV. So this is the way I'm doing the show, as well as doing what I love the most, which is I love to see people at the best state that they're in, whole in every area. The Bible says, what good does it do for you to gain this whole world and lose your soul? So we are going to prosper in our soul. We're going to prosper in every area of our lives. Why? Because that's the way God created us. So I love you so much. I will see you next week at 7 o'clock for Wellness Wednesday. Have a great night.